Testing.
Well, welcome down to HOSS tonight, the Wednesday night playoffs for the month of March. Alongside me, Mitch Hamilton. Mitch, welcome along. Just had a bit of a fang round there in that Audi. The first time I've sort of driven that thing. And quite a tricky wee track, isn't it? Just fill us in on your take of the car there, Mitch.
A lot of power on the kicks in, and very little brakes.
Yeah, lots of understeer, isn't there, if you don't get it turned in correctly. This corner here over the crest, the right hand downhill, bit of a tricky wee corner, that one. And this one here too. A lot of second gear hairpins here. And here goes another one. Downhill right-hander. Very tight indeed, lots of understeer around the outside. And in case you didn't hear him before, welcome back Mitch Hamilton. He had the mic switched off. Mitch just asked you your take on the Audi.
Yeah. Like I say, a lot of power, very little grip turning, and very little brakes. Makes it very interesting. You got to get the car turned before the corner, and so you can actually get it. That just turning around the corner isn't really going to work in these cars tonight.
So Tier 2 out there at the moment, Tim Horn the fastest on a 1:11.1. They'll come down considerably, but just a minute and a half left in the session, so just a couple of laps for qualifying for the Tier 2s. Paul Beams, Sam Reeford, Mark Lister, Michael Pateman, Hamish Brader, the HOSS boss, and Dylan Dalrymple, the former Tier 2 champion, in the mix.
Hopped into a seat too, so straight into it.
Just walked in the door, so he'll probably be lucky if he gets around to get a lap in, if he's lucky. Be a lot of rear end sliding going on there. And you think four-wheel drive they'd be easy enough to drift around the corner, but they're really not, are they? They're either on or they're off.
It drifts well for a start, and then you get the grip, and then it will snap back the other way, and you got to kind of upshift while you're drifting to kind of lag it out again to not get the snap back.
Tim Horn gone purple. Mark Lister goes top of the time tree at 1:04.1. Tim Horn at 1:04.25. See a couple of more times come down as Sam Reeford comes through. And Paul Beams. But as you see there, late on the brakes and across and into the gravel trap and into the wall there. Or I think that was Sam Reeford.
Might even get a third lap here if they go over those guys that weren't preparing to do a third lap. But
just the two real hot laps been set. Mark Lister, Tim Horn, rest of them yet to lay one down, and of course Dylan Dalrymple.
First lap out, that's why it's a 2-minute 50.
Yeah, but he's managed to get across the line though to get one lap in, at least one decent time lap. Just a Tim Horn there, bit of understeer.
Well, Pateman and Hamish Braid is still yet to set a time.
Yeah, so Tim Horn gone fastest in the third sector.
Hamish Brader jumping into third place.
4.5. Scotty Kinder fastest in the race previous for the Tier 3 at 1:03.5. Naturally, you'll see the times come down a wee bit there. Michael Pateman jumps in the third at 1:04.3. Dylan Dalrymple with a big lock up there coming around to complete the lap. Getting all out of shape. Comes down across the line. Where's he going to fit into things? Sam Reeford not posting a lap. And Dalrymple, 6th fastest. But look at that, the gap's not much. Look down through the whole field there. But Mark Lister will take the pole from Tim Horn. Pateman 3rd, Brader 4th. Then it's Beams, Dalrymple and Sam Reeford rounds out the 7 drivers.
Did you find the start? Did you?
Pretty good. Yeah, no, pretty good off the line, really. It's the stopping that's the problem. The old sand trap's getting a bit of a hammering down the end of the front straight, that's for sure. No doubt someone's going to end up in it now as they head down towards it. Very patient here. All of these guys have obviously been watching and learning a bit of rubbing there. Oh, and a bit of crash and bang. Someone going out wide, someone on the inside as well. A bit hard to tell who's who in the Audis when they all look the same. But it's Tim Horn leading the way from Mark Lister. Hamish Brader's made up a spot up to third as they head up to the first of the hairpins. Oh, and a bit of a bash up the rear there from, I think it was Brader on Mark Lister. Right hand.
Especially opening lap, you're used to hanging it in second gear through there, but the opening lap on cold tyres,
that's
you're
right,
kind of down to first. So some guys in boost, some aren't. So you'll see who's adapting to it fastest will get the better opening lap.
So still pretty tidy though, considering with all 7 drivers within cooey of one another. Paul Beams has fallen to the back of the field. In fact, a couple of them just dropping off a wee bit at the back as they struggle with getting used to the Lancia. The Audi, I should say. And down across to complete lap 1, Tim Horn leads the way.
Bit of a lock-up running wide from Tim, but he manages to hold it.
You've got to be very patient down there in the braking zone. Doesn't take much to out-brake yourself and actually lock those brakes up. There's no ABS in these things. Over the crest. And 7 laps. Pretty quick wee sprint race. Oh, there's a bit of a Paul Beams are thinking to the back of Dylan Dalrymple. In fact, Michael Pateman, it might have been, dropped down a couple of spots as well. And so it's still Tim Horn leads the way. 1.5 seconds from Mark Lister. Then the HOSS boss Hamish Brader slotting in third place at the moment. Former Tier 2 champ Dylan Dalrymple sitting there in 4th place. Pateman, after his reasonably good start, sitting back down there in 5th. 3 laps down, 4 to go. A couple of wheels been put out in the grass here by Mark Lister, I think it was, on board with Hamish Brader. So that's second and first car up in front. Stay on board with him as we come up over the hill. Great here and nice and tight at the inside, taking lots of that sand trap on the inside there, Hamish Brader. Not the best way to get through there, but at least it will pull you around the corner a bit, I guess. Down to about second gear up through here. See him getting a wee bit out of shape there, Hamish. He likes throwing it in to help the turn on the exit of the corner. Downhill sort of right-hander here.
In third, 3.
Yeah, you can keep it in second pretty much through that whole section, I reckon. Reeving the nuts out of it though. But I think Jimmy Carroll found that out in the first race, probably reeving the nuts out of there. Jimmy, what was your problem in the first race, Jim?
I blew it up.
Blew the gearbox up, so that there is damage on tonight. What's the damage at, Billy Rowley? 75%. So fairly high tonight. Won't take much to do a gearbox like Jimmy did, especially on the downshift. You see the old red lines coming up on the screen. They'll know when they're stressing the engine a fair bit. Michael Pateman chasing Dylan Dalrymple for 4th and 5th.
Everyone's been quite well behaved in this.
Yeah,
the car's pointing the wrong way. So.
No, there's a wee bit of argy-bargy at turn 1 on the first lap, as you would normally get, a bit of rubbing. But Michael Pateman there on screen. Bit of panel damage on the side of his car. Tim Horn still around that 1.3 second gap back to Mark Lister. Hamish Brader another 3 or 4 seconds back. There is Brader there. Tim Horn fastest lap of the race at 1:03.7. Not quite the time of Scotty Kinder yet from the Tier 3 race previous. Interesting, just watching what gear these guys are in at certain stages. 4th, 3rd, down to 2nd, maybe. Sitting in 3rd through there, Hamish Brader. Obviously the best way to get through there is he takes up a lot of grass. On board with Brader again, looking out in the front. Mark Lister, that's the race leader up in front, Tim Horn. Big chap doing a good job there at the moment, keeping a nice tight inside line. A tricky wee corner here, and then this sort of cambered corner, you can sort of throw it in there a wee bit. As long as you don't throw it in there too much, because you come over the crest of that hill and you can carry on round and spin it. So, hook 5th gear down here, Mitch, and just you see the 100-metre board to your left there. You really want to hit the brakes there as Tim Horn, the race leader, just talking about hitting your mark there. And even in braking a wee bit earlier, at least you're going to get round the corner. You only got to be 20 or so metres late, and you end up in that kitty litter like Tim just did. So he's got a wee bit of work with the lap and a bit left to go. Try and get on top of Mark Lister.
Mark Lister with the fastest lap of the race that previous too, so he's got the pace. He might be able to hold him off.
Track could be pretty slippery. 30 degrees was the track temp. Not actually even sure what track we're at, Mitch. Somewhere over in England somewhere.
Tim Horn runs wide again. The race done for him. It'll be pretty hard to come back unless Mark makes a mistake, but he's driving pretty smart there.
Battle still continuing here with Dylan Dalrymple on the back of Hamish Brader for 3rd place. Leaders started the final lap in the Audi. 5th down to short shift down to 3rd, down to 2nd for Hamish Brader, and Dalrymple just about out braking himself in behind. Sort of ruined any chance he's going to have of getting on top of Brader.
Getting a run through this fast corner. Hairpin following is pretty good passing opportunity, but like you say, kind of ruined it the corner before.
Brader just about out braking himself, using all the track. Dalrymple's coming back at him and loses control into the side of Brader, and around he goes. He may lose another spot there if he's unlucky there. Dylan Dalrymple will have to gather it up pretty good. Luckily he had 10 seconds back to Paul Beams, but had a go. It didn't work out for him. And race leader Mark Lister's going to come down and take the checkered flag for race 1 for the Tier 2s tonight. He started 3rd. Tim Horn started off the pole. He'll going to come through for 2nd place in the end. Then it's Brader. Dylan Dalrymple, the end finishes 4th. Then we'll be back to Paul Beams, long way back. Pateman and Sam Reeford, who's showed signs of brilliance at certain tracks, will come through at 7th place. So there we go, the Tier 2. Mark Lister taking maximum points, and we'll reverse him up for race 2 here for the Audi Quattros. Very famous car back in the day, Mitch. I remember the New Zealand Rally out here back in the 80s when the Audi Quattros came out. They were the latest sort of thing. I think there is one down there somewhere, yeah. I think it's a Fair Dinkum one too. Yes, the lights are out, so away we go. Oh, a bit of a slow start there off the 3rd row. I think that was Mark Lister. Might have been Hamish Brader even. Off to a slow start. Oh, here we go, a wee bit there of using someone else as a brake to the turn 1, but in the end, all cars across the top. The sliding going on there. I notice if you do catch the inside curve at the wrong time there, Mitch, that it can actually throw the car up on 2 wheels.
There's also another one at the end of the lap.
3rd place, Paul Beams. Paul Beams into Mark Lister it was. So both of them losing a couple of spots. And Tim Horn out in the grass. A couple of them getting into trouble there. And this has allowed Pateman to stretch away. Sam Reeford in behind him, and Dylan Dalrymple not far away either. Who's that? Paul Beams getting all out of shape still. They're a bit hard to get back into shape, aren't they, once they get going?
Try and go up a gear and try and get it to tame down, but even that won't fix it half the time.
Yeah, try and get the mechanical grip to straighten the thing up. Anyhow, down across the stripe first time, it is Michael Pateman from Sam Reeford. Mark Lister, the previous race winner, up to 4th place already. Courtesy of a bit of argy-bargy there from Horn and Beams. Someone out in the grass. Not sure who that is. Mark Lister, it might have been.
Oh, he's running wide.
Out in the grass. Oh, he got a bit of a punt up the inside. And who was that from?
Race 1 winner.
In behind, Mark Lister, yeah, ends up out in the kitty litter out there. Sand trap. But she's still all on. This is probably the most frustrating corner, this one. Especially once the understeer comes in. Really got to come to just about a stop to get the thing around the corner.
Especially if you kind of work it too much and you get too much speed to try and slow it down and turn the other way. Becomes a bit hard.
Anyhow, we're all in the same machinery, so we're just getting used to the track. Pavement stretched out a good lead. Who's that out? The kitty leader, Hamish Raider, I think it was, from 4th place. Brings it back on. Oh, and another outbreak there. Someone.
Dalrymple, I think.
Dalrymple, was it?
Too wide through here. No, they straighten up.
Yeah, Dalrymple. And Reeford 5 seconds off Pateman's. Pateman's out to a good lead. Look at this through, down over the hill. And out in the grass, comes back on for a bit of a smack in the side. Ends up being pushed out in the grass. So, see a gap and you go for it, but it only just takes a wee clip in the side and it puts you out in that grass. Down the left-hand corner. But downhill left hand, you see, getting a bit of a slide going on. That's Sam Reeford from 4th place. Tim Horn getting all out of shape as well, getting the wheel out over that ripple strip like I was saying. And once you get nose pointed down across the other side of that wee rise there, it's foot flat all the way down here. Just check your brake marking every time down here, because just like that, straight ahead and you're out in the sand.
It only takes a metre shorter in the braking distance to absolutely ruin that corner.
I think that might have been Dylan Dalrymple, 3rd place. Gathered up reasonably good though. Got a couple of seconds back to Sam Reeford, who's fallen back to 4th. Paul Beam's having a bit of a shocker down the back there in 7th. But it's Pateman out in front by 7 seconds with 3 laps to go. Tim Horn's got a second and a bit over Dalrymple. That's going to come up to quite a good wee battle, I would imagine, with the Dalrymple getting on the back of Horn. A second and a half between the two of them.
Mark Lister slowly chipping his way back to Hamish Brader.
He's our race leader.
Must have been something going on there. But there's a battle.
Oh, nice sideways around the corner. Oh, gets a bit of a helping hand there too. Does Mark Lister. Hamish Brader in behind. He wants to get past. Pateman with the fastest lap of the race at 103.56. Oh, Mark Lister goes even quicker, 103.2. 5th place. And turn 1 back up the hill. Flat through here. Get halfway up the hill, just button off, perhaps hit the brakes a wee bit just to get the car to turn a bit. Put her into a bit of a slide. Then uphill, down the 1st gear, maybe 2nd. The Brader sliding it out nicely. Not really the fastest way around there though. As you can see, he's lost a fair bit of distance between himself and Mark Lister. In the meantime, Michael Pateman just extending that lead out to 7.5 seconds now over Dalrymple. I thought Dalrymple might have been able to get a wee bit closer than that to him, but getting out of shape and just lost another couple of seconds there, did Dalrymple. So 2 laps to go for Pateman. Plenty of time up his sleeve. Sam Reeford's managed to recover back to 3rd. Tim Horn must have had a bit of a moment somewhere. There's Reeford there. Tim Horn not too far away. So anything can happen there for that 3rd and 4th place. And the tyres didn't seem to go off much, considering all the understeer and brake locking and everything that I had going on. Anyway, there were no red tyres coming up, so they obviously got some pretty hard compound sort of tyres on them. Yeah, hits the lockups. But we bet 3-car battle going on here.
Am just running wide at the corner previous, allowing Tim Horn to get past. Mark Lister coming to join the party.
Oh, yeah, straight into the side of Reeford. And he's gone from 3rd to 5th, just like that. Come down to cross the line for the last time and get the last lap board.
race 1 winner Mark there. He's done a pretty good job from in the wall opening stages of the race to be fighting for. Oh, he's in third now.
Yeah, he's managed to sneak up the inside of Tim Horn, who's got out of shape down there in turn 1, across the top of the hill. Downhill left-hander. Back uphill to this very tight hairpin here. In a second, maybe third. We see Sam Reeford staying in third gear. Then down to second. So Tim Horn in first gear. Coming out of there. Second gear. Found you could just about stay in second through all this tight stuff. As long as you don't wring the neck out of it too much. The pavement's going to come down and take the race win for race 2 for the Tier 2 drivers for the March playoffs. And we'll get good points. Mark Lister's going to get good points too, taking the win previous. And a third placing to go with it. Dylan Dalrymple second. And Tim Horn come through in fourth place. Sam Reeford in the end fifth. And Hamish Brader, what happened to him? Down there in 7th place. Paul Beams just sneaking through in front of him at 6th. And that's the Tier 2 drivers out for their 2-race stint.
Yeah, the Tier 1s do it now.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see the difference in the times. It's sort of been around the mid-103s. Tier 1 drivers, obviously the superstars down here at HOSS, the professionals, usually you might say. Usually the same guys in there. Those Sprague names in there, you know, pretty good. Opened it up for a few other people. Here we go, Michael Pateman taking the race win from Dalrymple in the end by about 5 or 6 seconds. Mark Lister third, Tim Horn, Sam Reeford, Paul Beams and Hamish Brader rounds out the 7 cars. And we'll have a bit of a break and we'll come back with the Tier 1, their first race for the March playoffs. Rightio, Mitch, we're just strapping the Tier 1 drivers into the cockpits. Probably give them a quick wee practice and then straight into a 3-minute qualifying session. March playoffs.
We go on wise.
Yeah, that's right. I think patience is the name of the game in this track, this car. Bring the drivers up on there very shortly. Good to have Shane Edgar back. He's been out for the last couple of months for the playoffs. Obviously doing his other sim racing. He does a fair bit of it. They've got Blair Gabbities, Dallas Redhead, the old wild man from Borneo, Morgan Doyle, the super sub, Corbin Winter, young guy, been setting the timing screens alight for a young guy and his first real sort of go at competition stuff down here at HOSS this season. So it's good to see another young guy coming on. I hope the old man's got plenty of coin in the bloody bank because he might need it another couple of years.
Rumour is if he does well here, the dad's going to buy him a race car.
Braden Carroll also your former Tier 2 champion, and Billy Rowley Of course, he's no slouch either. He wouldn't look out of place in the front row, but he's pretty handy in one of these Audi Quattros. So, qualifying underway, just 3 minutes to go. Someone already crying out for a bit of help, Shane Edgar. Got something going on with his simulator over there, so hopefully they'll be able to fix that pretty quick with the press of a few buttons. Minute 30 left in the qualifying session. So these are the heavy hitters for the month of March. No Billy Manson, I've seen him on the list, but hasn't showed up tonight. Another one of those heavy names that we're talking about.
Yeah,
that would normally feature in the top 2 or 3.
Having himself for the upcoming championship, maybe.
That's right. Just, someone's out of shape there, just ruining a couple of people's laps. Who's that? Braden Carroll. Someone else is a bit pissed off with the situation there too, just stopping on the track. Blair Garrity's setting the benchmark time on 1:05.1. We should see that come down if they do a tidy second lap, but he's out of shape there as Blair Garrity's.
He's pulled out of it. Best he can do.
Yeah, so Morgan Dora 1:04.9 on his first lap. Corbin Winter going fastest in the third session. Sector 1, I should say. An eye on the young fellow, the Dallas Redhead. Well, we don't know about Dallas. He's either on fire or he's not. Billy Rowley, Shane Edgar too, struggles to get a lap down qualifying sometimes. Trying a wee bit too hard, especially when you only got 2 or 3 minutes. Corbin Winter just managed to keep it on the track. You can see just being patient round through those tight corners, keeping it pointed in a straight line. Gone purple in the first, green in the second sector. It's a wheel out in the grass, but looking pretty good as he comes down across the line. Can he beat Morgan Dawes 1:04? He certainly can. A 1:04.6. Then Dallas Redhead a 1:04.60. And Braden Carroll a 1:04.5. So the time's coming down as they come through. Billy Rowley a 1:04.2. A 1:04.2, a 1:04.5. A couple of 6s and a 9. She's pretty tight stuff there between the top 5. Blair Garrity's in the end a 1:05.1.
The line now, see what he can do. No, he
couldn't do it. Well, 1:06.3. Or having a wee bit of a cry over in the corner, saying about his time being deleted or something, but stiff shit as they say. Billy Rowley on the pole. Braden Carroll beside him, waiting on the lights to go out, and away we go. 7 laps for the Tier 1. You see Billy Rowley going very defensive straight away, coming across in front of Braden Carroll to get that inside line down into Turn 1. And we'll just see how he breaks himself, so does Braden Carroll. But, they managed to get around the corner, but they did go wide round through there. And in the end, Braden Carroll sneaks through on Billy Rowley. Billy Rowley comes back at him again as they come over the hill. Dallas Redhead, not a bad start from him in third. Someone getting out of shape, coming over the top of the hill. Gets in the way of everybody else in the back there from 5th, 6th, 7th. Around Turn 2, or 3 or 4, or whatever you want to call it.
Battle in the back.
Still a bit of bumping and rubbing going on there.
3 wide doesn't work.
Doesn't work at all. Blair Garrity's down there in 6th place.
Having a look up the inside.
Looks like a wee bit touch maybe to get round there, quite nice, but it's Rowley out in front by half a second from Braden Carroll. Redhead just under a second back there in 3rd place. Corbin Winter sitting there in 4th. Then Door, Garrity's and Shane Edgar's got it all to do at the back there as they come down to complete the second lap. Not much between the top 2, that's for sure. Here they go here, having a ding-dong battle. Rowley it is in front this time from Carroll. Down the hill, up over the top. Getting way out of shape there, Braden Carroll. He doesn't like sliding the machine around. And then hard on the brakes. Round through here, 2nd, maybe 3rd gear on some of them.
Couple of different driving styles from the front too. One quite loose, the other one nice and tame and keeping it in a straight line.
and the right-hander. That's probably the most difficult corner on the tracks, that one there. This one here, not bad. And it's one of these wee straights where you don't know whether to keep it in second or just put it up to third, then back to second. Very hard to sort of pick, as these three cars pretty much evenly matched. There's Edgar trying to have a look around the outside of Gabbity's. They might have a wee sneak up the inside as they come down to the braking zone. I don't think he's deep enough there, Edgar, as he has a wee sniff, gets a wee bit out of shape, gets to the side of Gabbity's. Gabbity's gets a nice wee slide going on and manages to keep it in a straight line. Great stuff from these guys at the back. It's Billy Rowley now just stretching that lead out a wee bit over Braden Carroll, just about a second now between the two of them. Another second back to Dallas Redhead in third place, and Corbin Winter, he's only half a second back further. He's in the hunt. Here we go with Dallas Redhead there with Winter tucked in behind him. Go over the top of the wee rise there. Locked it. Winter will go through up the inside up to third place. Redhead will probably come back at him. This point here, it's pretty much flat out down to the braking zone. Rowley goes through to complete another one. Still got that gap about a second between himself and Braden Carroll. Now it's Winter's. Sure, who's that? Blair Gabbity's, is it? It's going off the end. Yeah, they all go off out there in the dirt. Morgan Dorr, Gabbity's and Shane Edgar. Three that have been fighting away at the back for the minor money. At the moment, Morgan Dorr is leading the way between those three. Gabbity's taking a lot of the inside gravel trap there on his way through. What a difficult.
Quite close up the front. Front two.
Rowley, Carroll. Don't know where the old race director's gone, but we seem to be stuck on this wee battle at the back. We'll rally out in front though. Second, and Corbin Winter still at second and a half back in there in third place. And Redhead getting closer. There's Rowley now, first man down on the twos, a 102.7. Fastest lap of the night so far, with a couple of laps left to go for him. Here we go, that's Braden Carroll. These are the two leaders here. Up over the rise. Keeping it nice and tidy, these two guys. And there goes Winter and Redhead, not too far behind.
Back there waiting to pick up the pieces if Carroll tries making a move.
I'll have to try and do something shortly because only a lap and a half left to go. And look at that, the first four cars, only a couple of seconds between them. Still Billy Rowley though. Hanging on. Braden Carroll, we know he likes going sideways, so it'll be a pretty wide Audi Quattro, I'd imagine, through some of those corners. Here's the lead. Battle for the lead there. Rowley in the yellow one out the front. Going to come through with 2 laps left to go. Just a short lap here around the 1 minute 2, 1 minute 3 second bracket. Rest of them coming through. Edgar there at the back, the second and behind Gabbity's. Starting to stretch themselves out a wee bit, those three at the back. Here's the lead in front though. There's Winter still hanging on to third. Be good points in the bank if we keep it there on the podium.
That March just takes a not getting it turned in quite nicely. Lead cuts down like that.
See Braden Carroll throwing the thing into the corners, trying to make it quicker on the outside. There's Gabbity's again, coming under pressure from Edgar. Edgar might give him a wee tap perhaps. You'll know he's there. In trouble getting the power down as Gabbity's. Was getting the power down, he's having trouble with the traction.
Yeah, Gabbity's last month's Fast 8 winner.
That's right, he was too, wasn't he? I think quite a consistent night as Braden Carroll goes fastest at 102.7. Time's coming down. The battle still continuing, half a second between Rowley and Carroll on the last lap. You're looking pretty tidy out in front though, as Billy Rowley. Probably done a bit of practice through the week just to...
Braden Carroll just dropping one of the wheels off on the dirt on the way into the corner and getting it sideways. But
you see him really throwing it in there, getting the four-wheel drift going on.
a bit of fun knowing he had 7 laps and couldn't make it. One car out.
Look, not too sure who that is. Could be Morgan Dorr, is it? 100% sure. Oh no, it's Dallas Redhead. As the race winner comes through, Billy Rowley will take maximum points. Braden Carroll comes through for second. Lexham on the way through. And Corbin Winter comes flying through too.
We should
doing a bit of a Grandenia.
We should make the them start the same. They finish this race.
That's right. Yeah, the same damage as what they do across the line. But Corbin Winter doing a bit of a Grandenia there and smacking into the side of someone. There's going to be Gabbity's off the front row from Edgar. Morgan Dorr, Corbin Winter. Good position for him, starting 4th there with a couple of hand grenades out in front.
Dallas Redhead starting 7th.
That's right.
Rub a bit of salt into
the lights out and away they go as they stretch their way down the front straight. Billy Gabbity's from Morgan Dorr. Shane Edgar. Shane Edgar dropped a couple of spots already as they head down to turn 1. Oh, we got all the action continuing. We missed half of it, but she's still going on. And Shane Edgar and Morgan Dorr, 2 of them hand grenades I was talking about off the front row, are now at the back of the pack. So Blair Gabbity's, he's got the young chap now, right in behind. What can Winter do? You know Gabbity's too. He can got a bit of a hand grenade about him sometimes as well. I guess we all have to a certain point. But when you're out in front, you think you've got an open track, and you've got a young hard charger in behind you, then it can make things difficult. Braden Carroll too, he's in on the mix, all locks the brake up. Winter up the inside, clicks the inside curb, and it goes up on 2 wheels. Doesn't go into the side of Gabbity's. Gabbity's now, he's under the pump down the front straight though. He got out of shape, going left and right and all over the place, defending like he's an Iranian, but really you can't do that. You have one shot at it. And
right there too.
And who's this in 3rd place? Braden Carroll, is it?
Another one who's going to win it or bin it.
Yeah, so it's Corbin Winter, the young chaps, leading the way at the moment. 3rd place in the previous race. Blair Gabbity's in, Braden Carroll, Dallas Redhead in 4th. Billy Rowley's got a bit of work to do back there in 5th place as well. Through the right-handed hairpin they go. The power down here not too bad. Left hand, 90-degree corner. Downhill right-hander. Then over a wee crest.
Lock it up again. 2 laps in a row. Blair Gabbity's locking up, running wide, laying someone up the inside.
But he's under all sorts of pressure here now, and so's the redhead in behind. That's Gabbity's. He drops in first F-bomb of the night for Gabbity's. Of course, he's the F-bomb champion from last year too, so looking to keep that crown once again, Blair Gabbity's. Falls to the back of the grid. And Shane Edgar gains a spot there, but it's a young fella out in front. Corbin Winter from Redhead. 3 seconds the gap.
Battle from race 1. Billy Rowley and
Carroll, yeah, both of them at it again. Dallas
allowing Dallas Redhead and Corbin Winter to kind of run away.
So Dallas Redhead, of course, a DNF in the first race tonight for the Tier 1s. He'll be after as many points as he can, sitting there in 2nd place. But Rowley's only 3 tenths behind. Wants a bit
run up the inside, maybe. No, he shuts the door.
He shuts the door, and that's the thing. If you keep it down nice and tight, it makes it hard to get around. Oh, look at this. Who's that out in front? It looks looking pretty good. Got the old passenger going on.
Bit of weight saving there.
Winter just over 3 seconds now. These guys here, Got to be Braden Carroll. Was it going sideways, or was it Morgan Dorr getting all out of shape, still trying to gather it up in the background? In fact, he's still going. Dallas Reedhead and Billy Rowley. Reedhead in the number 4 car. Goes Rowley, had a wee sniff up the inside. Then Reedhead comes over, takes the inside line. Had trouble getting the power down there was Reedhead.
It's quite easy to run defensive, but then you get a little too excited and you're down a gear less than you should be. So you put your foot down and it steps out and you lose all the...
Looks like Rowley's got the job done.
He's going to have another look up the inside.
He's getting all out of shape now as Reedhead. A wee bit of red mist starting to come in now as he loses another spot down to 3rd. But it's Winter now, fastest lap of the race, a 1:02.8. So he's really on fire at the moment with a couple of laps left to go. 3.8 seconds over Billy Rowley. And Shane Eggers had a good recovery. Back up to 4th place there, just nice and quietly. Braden Carroll just falling back a wee bit. Morgan Dorr and Blair Gabbities. Oh, actually, Blair Gabbities just jumps a spot there on Morgan Dorr, so up to 6th place for Gabbities. It's a battle at the back there, those two. There goes Edgar. Hasn't really got anyone in front of him or behind him, so got a safe wee 4th at the moment. Edgar with a lap and a bit left to go. So looking good for Corbin Winter. Should leading after this race if he stays where he is. 1st and the 3rd, pretty close to coming out of the first round of races in front. So it's Corbin Winter. Billy Rowley now fastest lap of the race at 1:02.850. For those times coming down, who's that in the background? I think that was Morgan Dorr. He's having trouble, the old super sub. Across the line. Lap and a bit left to go for our race leader.
Come down a wee bit.
Just lost a couple of tenths, but still got it reasonably safe there. 2.8 seconds. Redhead. You get chasing hard, but 2.5 seconds back. There he is, just coming over the crest. 4 seconds back off from Rowley is Redhead. Looking good at the moment.
Doing well. He's not really coming down or anything.
No, it's around about that 3 second mark. Goes down to 2.8, back up to 3 seconds. Obviously stronger in certain points of the track. Rowley's a wee bit quicker in other points of the track, so they come down to get the last lap board this time. 2.9 seconds the gap, 1st to 2nd. Redhead 4 seconds further back there in 3rd. And Edgar just looking to score quite a few points there in 4th place. Braden Carroll, Blair Gavrity's Morgan Dorr. Fastest overall lap tonight is a 1:02.7 from Braden Carroll. Rowley a 1:02.73. Corbin Winter a 1:02.8. Top 3 fastest times. But Corbin Winter shouldn't be too far away from coming through and getting the odds. Braden Carroll taking a big shortcut across there. And here goes our race leader. Going to come down and take the race win, Corbin Winter. And Billy Rowley will come through for 2nd. And in the end, the fastest lap time for him, a 1:02.4. Redhead's going to come through for 3rd. Edgar 4th. And there's Braden Carroll come through for 5th. And a long way back to Gabbities and Morgan Dorr, 6th and 7th.
After a win in that race, I think Dad have to start looking at marketplace for race cars.
That's for sure. So great stuff there from the young guy. In the end, 2 seconds was the race win over Billy Rowley. Dallas Redhead 3rd. Edgar, Carroll, Gabbities and Dorr rounds out the 7 cars for the Tier 1. Well, their 2nd race of the night. It's going to have a wee break, then the Tier 3 drivers will go in. And here we are going to the Taupo Motorsport Park with a couple of sprint races each for Tier 3, Tier 2 and Tier 1. They'll be back shortly.
Trying to say early. Run.
Yeah. One of them. Only one, not. Yeah. Across the road down the paddock step. Rightio, welcome back. It's the Tier 2 drivers' turn here at Taupo. Sprint race, 3-minute qualifying session. Dallas Redhead, Tim Horn, Michael Pateman, Corbin Winter, Hamish Brader, Dylan Dalrymple and Braden Carroll rounds out your 7 drives. And look at this already, argy-bargy going on. That's Corbin Winter, who won that last race for the Tier 2. And looking pretty good on points at the moment, but it's underway again. He's in the Deer Fix-It car. Toyotas look pretty smart at the front, I reckon, those new Supras. And everyone really only going to get a couple of laps in here at Taupo. Of course, the V8s are there this weekend. Double header here in New Zealand, and then Ruapuna the weekend after. So let's see who's going to set the fastest time around here. And let me tell you, Mitch Hamilton, it pays to do some practice around these tracks.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a pain in the arse trying to learn it in qualifying.
A lot to learn, a lot to take in. Especially on a bronze machine, it's a lot different. Cars are a bit darker than normal.
Yeah, might be in for a bit of rain there perhaps later on. Tim Horn, a 150.7, lays down the first time. Brader of 51, Redhead of 56. And
that time for Corbin Winter. Dropped a wheel and wasn't to miss that lap, so it's all this lap to try and get himself a good position for this one race.
Just the one race around Taupo for the V8 Supercars for each tier tonight. Tim Horn, the man to beat, a 1 minute 50.7. I'm sure that's going to come down as Corbin Winter goes purple in the first sector. In the Deer Fix-It car. Pretty striking livery, that one. It's a bit easier to call the races when they're all got the different liveries on them. There goes Tim Horn. He's got a purple middle sector.
Raced.
Brader too, a couple of greens in there as well. Everyone looks like they're on a pretty good lap for their last hot lap here at Taupo. Down the long back straight. That's where you can make a bit of time up here while late braking, carrying a bit of speed into that corner and then braking very hard before you do that right left-hand kink combination. And here goes Tim Horn. What's he going to do this time? A 29.5. Dalrymple does a 29.6. Corbin Winter a 28.3 goes to the top. Dallas Redhead a 28.8 in second place. How many guys we got to go? 2. Here goes Pateman. What can he do? Down there in 6th at the moment. Jumps up to 5th, but it's going to be Braden Carroll, was it, by the looks of it. Just at the last second, gets it by 0.28 of a second from Corbin Winter on the front row. Then it's Redhead, Tim Horn, second row. Dalrymple, Pateman and Brader off the rear as we wait for the 4 lights. 6-lap sprint race here for the Tier 2 guys for the month of March playoffs, and everyone off to a pretty good start there. The Mobile 1 car back a wee bit further, fanning out a wee bit, but the Armorall car up the other side, I think that's Hamish Brader perhaps, trying to make a spot or two. Now a wee bit of
He's going to be left out to dry outs wide.
Out in the all 4 wheels out in the grass here, but at the moment it's still Winter who's just up the inside though. Michael Pateman and Winter out in the grass. Winter out in the grass. He comes back on the track though, and then goes back over it again. The cold tyres on the first lap.
Oh, three
Really,
wide through here is not going to end well.
Oh, they all managed to weed their way through there. Bit of a touch there from Tim Horn in the back of Dylan Dalrymple. She's still going on.
Michael.
Oh, he gets a bit of a straighten up there. And then around he goes again, Tim Horn, causing all sorts of havoc in the mid-pack there. And Michael Pateman was the winner there because he was sideways and then got a helping hand from Tim Horn to straighten himself back up again. So, bit of a helping hand in the end, but Hamish Brader also getting caught up in all that mess that's going on. In the meantime, Redhead's shot through to the lead. He's got 2 seconds over Corbin Winter as they head down the back straight for the first lap. So tyres will still be reasonably cold as we have a look at the screens. And Tim Horn's still got a pretty cold right front at the moment. He's down there in the 6th spot. The Redhead leads across the stripe for the first time from Winter. 2 seconds the gap. And it's Pateman, Braden Carroll, Dylan Dalrymple. Line astern as they go through turn 1. Seems to have all sorted themselves out now.
Doing a good job. Getting a 2-second lead.
Yes, although we've seen it more than once before. He's been out in front leading with decent margins. And then all of a sudden, he can't help but reach over and pull the pin out of that dirty big hand grenade sitting in the passenger seat. And at the moment, going pretty good. Corbin Winter. Second place, got a couple of seconds back to this battle. Michael Pateman in the Armour All car getting all over the place like a mad woman at the moment. And Braden.
The Lady Luck's on his side tonight. Every moment he's had, he's either held the cars up behind or they've straightened it up again. So
there's
did
Braden.
a good job to hold third place.
There's Braden Carroll. He's in the R&J Batteries Andre Heimgartner livery car. Toyota. Round through the corner, down onto the back straight. Wind her up to 5th, 6th gear down here. Take a wide entry in and brake hard into the corner. Braden Carroll not too far behind Dylan Dalrymple. A couple of ex-Tier 2 champions there, Carroll and Dalrymple. But it's all Redhead at the moment, just stretched the lead a wee bit out that time. Just about 3 seconds now over Corbin Winter. Michael Pateman still hanging on to that 3rd place. Braden Carroll not in the Audi this time, so he's not throwing it into the corners like you've seen him in the previous car. Keeping it nice and smooth. In fact, Hamish Brader, he might be out of the car already, is he? You know, he's still there, but he's a long way back. Perhaps he had to have a reset there. Down in 7th place, there goes Carroll.
Actually that far behind, he's actually getting front too. So see what happens here if he gets out of the way or...
Might cause a bit of havoc, do you reckon? So Braden Carroll there. Cars do have a bit of a different look, do they? Like a smoky look to them in certain angles. Oh, who was that out wide? A bit of smoke there, someone out in the dirt. It might have been Michael Pateman. It was. So Carroll's managed to sneak through up to 3rd. Now we've got Dylan Dalrymple having a bit of a run on the Armour All car of Pateman.
Really anywhere to go at the end of the straight though.
Nowhere near close enough. On board with Michael Pateman looking out in the rear at Dylan Dalrymple in the Mobil 1 car. Gap from 1st to 2nd is still 2 seconds. Dallas Redhead over Corbin Winter. No doubt Dallas has been doing a few laps around Taupo at home. I know he's got a sim at home. And it does help if you do have one. You can clock in a few laps and get the layout of the track. So Dylan Dalrymple just getting a wee bit out of shape there. Lost a few car lengths off the back of Pateman. Round through the
runs wide out of that corner. But the amount of moments he's had, he's not letting Carroll, who was the pulser, to run off into the distance. Oh, they both run wide through that corner.
Yeah, it's quite hard that one with that tyre bundle right on the apex of the corner there. You tend to stay a wee bit wide from it, because if you hit it, you're going to be like hitting a concrete wall.
They're quite low in the car too, so it's quite hard to see it.
And if you're too wide there going around that tyre bundle, you do end up out in the grass. The Pateman down to 4th place now. He's trying to chase down Braden Carroll out in front in the Supra. Tim Horn not too far in behind Dylan Dalrymple either, as Dallas Redhead sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:26.8. Keeping it around that 2 second mark, so Corbin Winter hasn't been able to do too much about that 2 second gap. He's on board with Dallas Redhead as we got Brader up in front. Yeah, patient he is over that wee crest. Down the second gear through here. Bit of a stab. 3rd gear. Is on board with Corbin Winter. He's got a few more revs going on in there. Down the 1st gear. Trying to get that mechanical grip in the rear just to grip him up a bit to point him in the right direction around the corner. And this corner here is the one we were just talking about, that tyre bundle just on the inside right there. And nice.
Moves if you put it either.
No, he's the old nut cruncher, that's for sure. Only catching is he's gained a half a second in the last half a lap. Is Corbin Winter.
Hamish is just putting him off there, just sitting out in front. Hamish is doing a good job. He's not like he's getting swamped by them.
No, and I'm sure as soon as the opportunity comes, he will let him through. Over into the last corner. Short shift. Straightener up. And through. So last lap of the race at 26.7. Fastest lap of the race for Corbin Winter. He did get he got 0.8 of a second that last lap. So definitely catching Redhead on the last lap. Redhead will have one eye forward, one eye backwards. Looking at what Brader's going to do, whether he's going to let him through or hold him up. Anyway, it's working into Corbin Winter's hands. There he is there.
0.7 of a second.
Got it down to, not much. Right on the bumper. Redhead will be looking in the mirrors. He's
got a good run through this next.
He's in the Castrol entry. Is there a race leader? Using every bit of the track with half a second between himself and Winter. Either way, brake lock up there from Winter. Shouldn't lose too much time though. Went a wee bit deeper into the corner and gets a better run out onto the back straight. Here they go, down to 0.2 of a second. He might have a dive up the inside. And as the last lap comes across, tries and goes around the outside and gets side by side with him into the left-handed, right-handed corner. He poked his nose up the inside and he's managed to hit him. But he'll have to redress it as Redhead tries out in vain. But he's going to take the race win as the Dallas Redhead. And in the end, he had to go, the young fella, and he did the right thing in the end too by straightening him up. And a Redhead takes maximum points, but all said and done, Redhead had a DNF in that first race, needed all the points he did, but Winter bags better points as well. So great stuff. Braden Carroll comes through for 3rd, Pateman 4th, Tim Horn, Dylan Dalrymple and Hamish Brader a lap down for the Tier 2s.
Must be handwritten. 6-lap sprint race, just one sprint race for the fast guys tonight. Nine lap left to go. Won't be up to just the 6-lap sprint race. The qualifying is very important. Losing a lap maybe. Come across the risky, trying too hard, dropping a wheel off, losing your fastest lap. Billy Rowdy. Last complex of corners. Right, time to lose if you get it wrong. Wee bit wide, front straight, purple middle sector. As he comes across, he goes a 27 flat. But he's up to second. Yeah, if Morgan can stick a lap together. Goes up to 4th, down to 5th. Billy Rowdy, fastest. 0.4 of a second over Clear Cavities. 4. Okay, 6-lap sprint race. Get on to an enduro, so last race of the evening.
With Tim and Sam.
Just running wide there. Oh, Blake. Billy Rowdy running wide at turn 1, going from pole to last. Right here, this doesn't. Oh. Billy making his way back through the field in the DeWalt car, just heading up the inside of Shane Eger. The door out in the lead. Blair Gabbard's right behind. Couple of Supras. Trying to get the power down through this corner as they head. Rowdy go. The wheel. Does he get it turned in? He does. Turned in and stops Morgan from coming back at him. Hey, Gabbardy's right on the back of Morgan door now. See what he can do.
Not much of a passing opportunity in the last corner. Morgan Dorr goes defensive. Billy Gabbardese has a look. He'll switch back, get a better run onto the front straight and have a go at turn 1. Back look up the inside, couple of brake lock ups. So got a pass for the lead. Thinks better of it. Billy Rowdy right there. He's going to have a go around the outside of the next corner. No real passing opportunity. Oh, Billy Gabbardese doesn't get it turned into the previous corner, but manages to hold position. Let's turn through here. All doing well. But he's trying to make his way back to him now and make a move, but he's got Billy Rowdy all over the back of him. Good run through this corner. Morgan Dorr doesn't. Billy Gabbardese has a run. He'll be on the outside of the next corner. Billy Rowdy's going to stick his nose there. He's in the lead, but he might drop a few positions. So 3 wide onto the straight. Gabbardese just dropped a wheel. Won't have the best run. Will he run defensive? No, he won't. Won't. Shane Edgar now comes into the fight in the DJR car. Lock-ups. Oh. He's getting a couple taps in the back bumper. Shane Edgar's going to have a look up the inside into turn 1. Goes defensive. Gets stopped and turned in. Through here, no. Big Gabbardese. Back, hold him off as he runs a little bit. Corner. But he gets a run, but nowhere ready to go. Try and get a good run through this next following corners. Oh, he's going to run wide. Oh, he comes back across and gets tapped. How's Shane Edgar go through into second? Dance with spinnings. Forward again, set, go. 4 of 6. Mark Lister in 6th spot. Really leader in the Audis tonight. Battle for the lead now. Oh, Billy Rowdy tries to go to the inside, but gets. And Edgar runs wide. The door to kind of streak. Billy goes up there. Out of Shane Edgar. Billy does switch back. Goes up the inside. Get the better run. No, he won't. And lose back to Patton's Morgan Dorr. More defensive.
Okay, so points for the right. So
Yeah, try and stop it. Review.
endurance race. Bit of a... Oh! Not how you do it into turn 1, but we'll see how we go. Rumple get into first place. Drivers, a few minutes in driver. Don't want to start crashing into each other and getting some damage at this race. Oh, big lock up the inside. Just back on. Kind of a mix of Tier 3, Tier 2 and Tier 1 drivers. Instant speed. Back straight for the first time. Now Rumple. The DeWalt car is the Edgar Winters car, so having a look at the second place. Get in that car, so Tier 1 driver wanting to make some inroads before he has to hand it to a Tier 2 or a Tier 3 driver. Come to a stop at turn 1. Coming in Mr. Carol Clark car. Person. On board with Shannon, 4th place. 3 drivers doing well. Dalrymple goes wide. You're going to have Shane Egg all over the side of him. Lets him go. Has a bad run. We're ready to go through here. Hamish Brader. Stretch out of the lead. Up. Pretty, I think you get. Jack. Dalrymple second. Just Brader. 3rd. Shannon Clark 4th. Battle for 6th place. Tier 2 drivers having a go. Which will have a run at the inside. Will they come together? Couple of hits. He runs wide. And Clark get up the inside. We have a look. Allowing Dylan Dalrymple, but Shane Edgar pulling out 2.5 second lead out in front. Needs to do, just get out in front, start pulling in laps. Dalrymple battling Edgar, pull out. 1.5 second lead now. Minutes left in their session. And hand it over to another driver. running wide. Good front. Triples jump on the inside. He's going to have a look. You get the power down. Get this close to the car in front to see the type underline. And then better. Give a run. Even coming down to the last corner. Next corner. And then runs wide. And runs wide as well. The grass, hard to get it back off the grass. He'll lose, he'll drop. Goes back down to space. Yeah, but he's redhead. Rupert. Yeah, fastest lap of the race with 1:25.8. Doing what he needs. Third and fourth. Sorry, fourth and fifth. Runs wide, that's a penalty. Come through the pits. Victim to out and we'll lose a spot. Hamish will run through. The lead, Shane Eger. Run on board. Pick up Dylan Dalrymple's car. That again has a wee moment. They go defensive into turn one. Have a look. This is the gap. No, really to pass through this next kind of complex of corners without using the bumper. Better run through here. On board. Last brakes used. Board. Run. The wider gets a bit of run. Yeah, 3. 3 drivers won't be racing too. There's battle here for the podium. They're running a bit wide there. Turn in and they run out of the corner. Pits. Oh, is he coming? I don't think. Out of practice of coming in. Runs it up. Oh, the Super behind. Egging out, 2.5 second lead. Cruising out front. Pressure over the back of him. Look up the inside. Now Wimper runs defensive. Oh, another moment up front. Hamish Brader. This battle's brought back up to him. They're looking at the back of the Hamish Brader second place car. Not over yet. Dalrymple up the insides, good turn in there, but it'll close the door too much and lose the back. Might have cost him a bit much there. Super has a look into turn 1. Oh, pulls out of it last second. Very rarely to pass through here, just I'm just going to pull away again. Oh, just with a bit of a slide coming out of that corner. 13.8 seconds to Eager out in front. Little for second. Number 1's wide. Super's going to have a look out the inside. No, just not far enough up there. Fire on the inside of that corner as they run through. Just now pulling back out a little bit of a lead over these two. Oh, another bit of a lock up through this corner. A couple of alternative lines into the last corner. As long as you get the power on second gear down the straight. 6 minutes to go on this stint for these guys. Oh, Timmy Horn running one. Cross. There it goes.
pretty lively for a 1 hour race. Right, most supposed to be. Nice. Look up the inside, gets squeezed down, and pulls out of it. Really much to do at the end of the street. Audi. They're in. They found it.
He's trying to get a free go around. Lucky dog.
And battle for second. Down. Panels. Up traffic. Oh, there. Pump draft working. Supra's working together. Right. One's gonna have a look. Here, and into turn one. concertina of. Oh. Putting on for space and done. These first. My standard is on the track at the moment.
I think you.